Welcome everyone. Wanted to do just one more quick video on the actual Flow Hive frame, which is you would have seen this on several videos. We've made a couple of videos about the beehive itself, the Flow Hive. If you'd like to review those, I've got some links below. But this is the actual Flow Hive frame, so I don't want to go into too much of the obvious stuff that everyone's going through anyway. There's a cap there which you insert the rod, and you either push the frames, split them upwards or split them downwards, depending which of these parts do you put them into, the upper one or the lower one. Then on the other side you have on the other end you have the cup, which you insert the little tube into, and once you pop these slithers, I suppose you could call them, the slices of these hive frames, of this honeycomb, which is just in these little slices. It's like a sandwich slice. There's about 30 odd of them. You put them together, and that one slides down, one slides upwards, and it's separate. Well, actually just one slides really, and that's what separates the comb, splits it, and then makes the honey pour down into the middle, and through the middle it goes all the way down into this little groove, and that groove is slanted and tilted so that it comes out of the tube and into your jar, which you have to put a little tube into, and obviously you want to go and make sure that's airtight so that you don't get any robbing bees, etc. I don't know how long it takes for the honey to pour out, but I'm guessing it'll take, half an hour maybe, something along those lines. So just factor that into the extraction time, and obviously whilst you're doing that you can't really work on the other hives below. So you have these frames in the upper honey super, and below that you've got the brood. So you'd have to either remove this altogether from the hive, or I don't know how practically that's going to be done. The way they show it on the videos, you leave everything on there, so you place the jars in, crack the frame, and just let the honey pour out, and then either come back or wait whilst you're there, possibly work your other hives. Not quite sure, but this is the flexibility of. Just want to show you the flexibility of these frames. It's quite flexible right around so you can just join, like this. This is what it looks like when you go up close. There's these little slots there. Do you see the little button that slots into the hole? And once you place that in, that sort of slots in there. Now in between there you can see these. There you go. I just split it in half altogether. This is the bit in between. This is how they come here, in these little slices, like so. That's what they look like. And sorry, my hand is shaking while I'm trying to do all this and keep it nice and sharp for you, and slow and steady. That's the way you put them in. There's a particular way you have to do that. I'm going to try and slide that in if it works. I'm not sure. Goes in this way. So once you break this apart, it's really rather difficult to, and it broke on me a couple of times, to be honest. It was snapped open and I had to put it all together, which took, I don't know, maybe close to 15-20 minutes or so. And once you break that tight seal, as you can see I'm struggling with it here, this is what really happens, I guess. Oh, there you go. So that's all, there it is in pieces. Bummer, that wasn't supposed to happen, but look, this will probably not happen when you're at your hive, because They'll all be propolised and glued together. You know, these strings will actually be propolised. Let me bring another frame, and I'll be right back. Bear with me. So this is what you're left with if you do it the way, well, if this happens to you, then you just have a bit of work ahead of you to put it all together. Seeing that happen to me, I might as well show you in a little bit more detail. So these bits slot in like that, like so. Then you take the next one, and next piece, and you'll notice, I don't know how well this will come out in the camera here, but you'll notice there's a little bit right there, sorry, there, and a little hole in this one, right there in that corner. So that's what slides on, and it sort of clips in. Same thing on the other side, yeah, so it just slides like this. This is what makes that happen. And you just keep progressing up that chain until it's all back together again. I do have to say this did get a little bit trickier towards the end, because you do have quite a height to deal with. Yeah, so it's quite high, so you have to hold it in place at all times so that you don't lose that tension. So here's one I prepared earlier again. Now I dare say this was something that I wanted to mention and ask people if you can leave your comments below. What is your experience with the bees actually propolising these wires? I know that they propolise all the wires on a standard honey frame. I wonder whether these get propolised and make it difficult to pull all this apart at a later date if you need to clean it. Because I know that the Flowhive team do mention that you can pull these apart and clean them if the water is just enough to melt the wax, but you won't be able to melt away the propolis. So I wonder whether, at that temperature that is, so I wonder whether, you know, with the build-up of the beeswax and propolis inside and around the edges, whether that causes issues for, you know, when you're extracting and you want to, say it's the wrong end, when you want to, you know, you turn the key and the key then slides this up or down, whether it turns out to be too difficult. I'd be really interested to know. I've seen a couple of videos of people trying to break that, and they do suggest that if it is hard when you insert the key at the full length, that if it doesn't go and it's too hard and you're bending the key, just pull it out and go, say, 10 at a time. So you put in the key just for the 10, you turn, breaks these 10, then you push it further for another 10, another 10, and so on down the frame until you can pop the whole thing. I'm assuming the breaking apart will be the easier part. It's putting it back together, because obviously if you've ever had chewing gum, or just take your propolis really and try it, I suppose, and put it together and pull it apart and put it back together, you can never get it quite the same. So even with your with your standard frames, you have your frames standing like this, and when you break the frames in between each other, there's always bits of propolis on the sides here that hold together, and when you pull them, pop them apart, you can never squish the frames together quite the same. There's always a little bit more of a gap. I wonder whether that's going to be the same issue with this. So very keen to find that out. I know that some of you have used it already. Leave comments below, please. Let us know. I've got some work to do put this together, and I found the most difficult part was putting these wires on. I know that there's a trick to it, but if you practice enough, I think it might be okay to do. Alright, well, hope you enjoyed the video. if you did. If you found it educational, hit the thumbs up or down if you didn't like it, and leave feedback and subscribe, share. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support.